Before we get started, Kike would like to say there are some warnings in this story for this chapter. So let me tell you. The warnings are mental abuse, sadistic thoughts, and the R word, if you know what I mean. After you were brought back, you were locked in Bakugou's chambers. The only people you would see is, of course, Bakugo and a maid or two, depending on what they needed to do. You hated it. It was driving you crazy. He hadn't even come to the room in 3 days. No one had. You were asleep when someone came in, and it was driving you crazy. What was he doing? Trying to do? You're going to leave her there until when? A man asked. Yeah, so? This is what she gets for running away. He, Bakugo, played with a skull. But isn't it cruel? He asked. Would you rather I cut her tongue out or whip her? Bakugo asked, looking up to the male. No, sir. He bowed. Good, he huffed, getting up from his large pillow. Where are you going? The guard asked in question. Where else? My room. He continued, going away from the guard. He made his way over to his room, the many bowing to him, the way she would bow to him, the way she would beg for him, the way you would cling to him like a god. He just wanted to know what the heck you would do. He made it to his room, opening the door to see you. You looked like a scared child, trembling, just seeing him there. He closed the door and made his way over to you. You backed away, little and little, as he came closer. Don't worry, all right? He asked, a calm yet gruff voice, holding your chin. Do you need anything? He asked. You gasped. It was like your voice was in your throat. Your voice was light and timid to him. Please. You spoke lightly, your hand trailing to his, as tears braked through your eyes. Don't leave me, please. He smirked. Yes, this is what he wanted. I won't. I'll keep you safe within the world of danger. You slowly trailed around his neck, hugging him close. He picked you up and moved onto his bed, wrapping his tail around your body, holding you close to him. He could hear you whimper, unseeing his touch, the blanket covering your body. He could see you hold him for dear life, like if you were to let go, you would die, just without him. You stayed like this until you fell asleep. Your body clung to his. He played with your hair as a woman came in. Oh, Your Majesty. She bowed with tray in hand. You can set it here. He pointed to a table. She did just that and left as soon as she came. Bakugo took a closer look to the tray to see, what they had been feeding you. Really? Just fruit? He spat, taking some of the grapes and putting it in his mouth. He wouldn't admit it, but he did something to you that night. At least, people would treat you better than they did now. He sees now that you weren't even given proper food. He was going to make sure they all suffered. Show how they should treat you as great as him, if not greater. They should treat you like a goddess. He was a god to them, so they had to. Like Zeus and Hera, but cut out the part where Zeus cheated on Hera for God who knows how long. He was going to make sure you were his queen and not end up like the other humans he had. He kissed your head. Tomorrow, I'll make you my empress consort, right in front of all those bastards. This time, he kissed you on the lips, pulling away and looking at your face. He laid your head on his chest as he fell asleep. The next morning, you were being dressed all pretty, the red dress flowing down to your ankles. You felt funny, though. You didn't know how to put it, but you felt full. You were being brought to somewhere, and you didn't know where. You were worried. The huge doors that you once remembered opened. Your eyes first laid on everyone. Then you saw Bakugo. Your eyes lit up, quickly walking over to him. You tripped, however, over only just a couple of feet away from him. You could see the smirk on his face. "So, you were that happy to see me?" He chuckled. "Then, come here." He chuckled, his hand extended towards you. You got up and walked over to him. You didn't care about the eyes and mouths talking about you. He quickly pulled you down and placed you on his lap. "Now," Bakugo started, "the reason why you were all here." He played with your hair. "Now, as today, this human, Yen, is the Emperor's consort." He smiled, then turned. "And if I see you all not treating her as such, I will kill you myself." Many gasped as they heard of what their king just said, but you now knew he wasn't just a king, but an emperor. The forest, the city, and more was all his. You don't know why, but your mind was telling you to listen to every command he said. His head coming over close to you, close to the side of your head, and pulling you into his chest. At some point, you stopped listening. You felt full, warm and tired, falling asleep in his hold yet again. He was just glad you were there, and all his to play with.